Charlie, thank you. The trial against Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan is entering day 4. Dugan walked into the federal courthouse in Milwaukee this morning where the defense is prepared to begin their case. Dugan is accused of helping a Mexican immigrant evade federal authorities. The prosecution wrapped up its case yesterday against Dugan after calling 19 witnesses to testify. Those witnesses included her colleagues at the courthouse and the federal agents who were attempting to make an arrest of an undocumented citizen. At least 4 witnesses are expected to be called by the defense. It's unclear if Dugan herself will take the stand.